Because I want to talk about this movie we saw last night. Roxy and I, we'll kind of get into this real quick.
Yeah.
So, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, you saw it?
We saw it last night.
Ooh.
The new Tarantino film. It came out last night, and so here's.
And it didn't come out last night.
Oh, sorry, we saw it last night, and it comes out this week.
On Thursday, yeah.
It comes out Thursday, right? So Roxy and I we saw each other before we went in. We saw each other right after we went in. I think we.
Yeah, we should have seen each other when we were in there, but Christian didn't save me a seat.
No, I didn't have it. I didn't have a seat.
There
for
were
you.
no seats
Yeah,
left to save.
we went in there. Roca because I knew I was getting there late, and Roca had saved me one seat, and that was it. So anyway, I saw the movie, and it was so funny when you get into that screening in general because you just feel the air of like a Tarantino movie. You say it was jammed out.
They had two theaters
to see it, and it feels like an event. And the second the movie starts, you feel it. The first thing I can say is that the chemistry with DiCaprio and Brad Pitt is everything you want it to be. But even though it's DiCaprio's movie, Brad Pitt is the star of this film. Brad
He
Pitt,
always is.
But he is so good in this movie as the stuntman, and the way that it ties in everything. It is certainly a Tarantino film. You feel his stamp all over it, especially the end. The end is absolutely bananas.
The ensemble cast.
Yes.
But is it Pitt's movie like as a whole? Is it seen through his eyes or more DiCaprio's?
The movie is very long, and I even think maybe a little too long. It's almost 3 hours long. And
It's his MO.
With this, not always. He's usually like 2:20. This was almost 3 hours long. It started a little later, but it felt long. And there's certainly a couple things that you probably could have cut out, but the way that everybody kind of ties in, and it moves pretty slow for a lot of it, but I think because of what happens all the way through and the way that it ties up, that by the time you get to the end, it's like, okay, that's why he wants you to feel like that. He wants you to feel like, all right, let's get there,
Yeah,
let's
he
get there.
lulls
Because
you.
by the time you get
lulls
there,
you.
you're like, whoa! Because it just hits you like a brick
Right.
at the end of this film. So I really thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Is it one of his best? I don't know. I think that exactly what you were saying before with Oscars, Roxy, is that you got to give it a little bit of time, give it time to marinate. If I watch this, I will watch this movie again. I don't know if I'll do it in one sitting, but I'll definitely do it again. But I enjoyed the movie. How'd you feel?
I don't know,
Yeah.
to be honest, which doesn't happen to me that often. I know that the third act was great. I know that for the second act, there was a long time where I was sitting there thinking, wow, I actually can't stand this film.
Wow.
Like, I actively am so frustrated right now, and this is so long and self-indulgent.
Wow.
But because I loved the third act, I really liked the first act, I kind of accepted that by the time we got to the end, it was almost like, I'm so glad I watched that because of it all led to this.
Right.
But it was frustrating as somebody who is very interested in what happened with the real story.
Yeah.
I was interested in this movie, and I think that the performances were amazing. It looked incredible. There were specific scenes that I thought knocked it out of the park. The dialogue was awesome, but I don't know if I will watch this movie again, because I don't know that I care to.
Yes.
I'm super glad I saw it. I think it's a really good and well done film. Nothing in there touched my soul at any point in time.
I was really. This is one of those things that Pitt takes you. Although DiCaprio has a scene, I'll just say, in a trailer that was fantastic.
Is that the one that's in the trailer?
Is it?
It's a trailer in the trailer.
Is it? I don't know. I
Or
didn't
the
watch
trailer
all
in
of
the
it. I didn't
movie.
watch.
Oh.
No, there's an actual
I thought
trailer.
that scene, I think that scene was good.
It was one of my favorite scenes. In the whole
I
movie.
much preferred the scene of him outside during his break with another character that was in it briefly.
Oh, that was good too. But yeah, I liked
Reading a book.
Yeah,
Also
yeah.
that, yeah.
I remember what you're talking about. There were some really good. There were great moments. There were some great. There were some great moments. And
Great moments.
Stuff goes in, but I thought it kind of tied into the whole entire thing. The one thing I didn't love though, that I liked a lot better in the trailer, Bruce Lee, who looks like Bruce Lee. I didn't like the way that they depicted him in the movie. I thought
that was like borderline racist. I'm sorry. That's not. It's not an
Yeah, I won't go
that's
there.
too far of a word,
Yeah.
but it was like
it was a caricature.
it was. It felt like he was supposed to be the butt of the joke.
Yeah,
and I didn't want that.
Yeah, it was. He didn't. It seemed like a Saturday Night Live version of him, to where I wanted more of the actual character, like what he was supposed to do.
I felt
Was it
super
a Bruce Lee
uncomfortable.
movie?
No, he's not in it. He's not in it for very long. He's only in it a couple times. But
was really
Was he in it because he
uncomfortable.
was on set or something? Or?
No, he's like they were on set for a couple. Yeah, he's on set doing something, and him and Brad Pitt have the scene in the trailer.
Yeah, of course.
The scene itself, once they start doing it, is very funny, and it's a good scene. But it's just like the way that
You did think it was funny?
that particular thing that they get into. Yeah, I was laughing pretty hard.
See, I thought that was. I don't know because it's not mine to be offended about.
Yeah.
But I was watching that and I was like, wow, this can't not be offensive for people.
I think he leans into that.
but
I
it's
think
Tarantino.
the majority of the
Everything.
movies.
I have an issue with a lot of things
Yeah.
that Tarantino
I mean,
does that I think
lot
are
in this movie.
borderline.
There's tons of stuff in this movie that's offensive, and I think that's what he does. He leans into
I'm
it.
cool-
and he
I'm
just
cool
is-
with it.
He plays it into for the time itself and certain things that he says and does. He's always been doing that in his movies. But the way that they tie in the Manson stuff, I thought, Margot Robbie. I would have liked to her to have a little bit more to do as Sharon Tate, but the stuff that she did have to do, I liked.
She was, I mean, vocally speaking
Yes.
alone, she was a direct replica.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
She's so excellent that I felt really disappointed in her character.
Because they didn't do much with her. Emile
There
Hirsch
was,
was good too.
I didn't even know about this, but Ben Bateman was telling me last night. Initially, when Tarantino was asked about her having so many less lines than the guys, he said, "I reject your hypothesis."
Yes.
Do you guys remember that?
do
It was
remember
a couple
that.
months
Yes,
ago.
yes.
So I guess basically somebody was questioning him why she has so many less lines in the movie than the men do, and he just said back, "I reject your hypothesis,"
Yeah,
whatever
that's-
that means.
Okay.
But
That's what it means.
to me, she was one of the most interesting parts of the movie.
That just was underutilized.
She was.
So
mean-
vastly underutilized, and so I felt like I had nothing to hold on to.
Right.
Like, Brad Pitt was amazing. The performances were incredible. All of them were. I really love Tarantino in general, even though I do have qualms with some of his work.
Yeah.
But going into this movie, hearing this was one of the best Tarantino movies ever, a lot of people were calling it their favorite Tarantino movie. What?
Yeah, I won't go there. But I that's why I do want to revisit it because I can see your hypothesis. But I happen to really enjoy the film. I thought that the writing of the film, like always, it's just such a stamp on what he does and the way that he does it, and developing the characters of the relationship between Brad Pitt and DiCaprio. I thought DiCaprio played this kind of aging star just brilliantly, and the stuff that happened
Brilliantly. And
brilliantly.
I agree with you. I did enjoy the movie for a lot of it. There was just parts of
weighing
it that I
stuff,
was like,
yeah.
whoa.
Yeah, I
He's
want
the last movie star.
Yeah, I want
DiCaprio.
Who? Oh.
DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt's putting up a fight too because
He's
he
good, too,
Dude,
but-
he's so good
Did
in
they
this movie.
de-age him in this movie?
No.
He is hot.
Brad Pitt.
Holy crap.
He is, man. He was so good in this
Production design and
Yeah.
the costume design look
This-
Yo,
fantastic.
he takes his shirt off at one point.
movie.
And I was like,
on the rooftop.
Oh,
That's that
he's
whole
shredded.
scene.
Are you kidding?
Is it like the Ryan Lochte one we saw earlier?
Right.
I mean, kind of.
And then when he goes to
They got a load of me.
at the ranch, the whole ranch scene. You didn't like the ranch scene?
It was fine.
Oh, I
it was.
love the ranch
It was. It was really good until I was like, wow, we've been here for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I mean that was the thing. It's a very long film.
But that's the other thing that kept bringing me out. So, okay, we've got my favorite girl from Leftovers who's in this, who it was the daughter during season 1, who I was obsessed with. The guy who's playing, I don't know if people know who he's playing, so I won't say that actually, but the one that was cast as Elvis Presley is in this
All right.
movie. People
Damian
know.
Lewis is in this as Steve
Really?
McQueen for like one
Yeah,
scene. Yeah.
Oh,
the
nice.
Luke Perry
yeah.
aspect of this that like choked me up
Yeah.
a lot too. But also like I just kept getting taken out with all these things that kind of were just pulling me out a little bit because the girl Robin, who's Uma Thurman, Ethan Hawke's
Stranger Things.
daughter, being in this as well, and yeah, she was in Stranger Things, so that for a second as well. Just there were so many stars, so studded this cast that I just kept being like, and these people would have like 2 lines or 1
Yeah.
line. It was like boom, star, star, star,
That-
star. Dakota Fanning.
What was she in that movie?
Okay, that's what Ben said to me too.
Yeah.
She is the redhead.
Is she really?
She's the redhead.
She's
The
she's
really?
20,
That is
20 now,
Dakota
right?
Fanning.
Holy shit!
That's Dakota Fanning.
Wow.
So I can sort of understand then why you're saying you maybe don't necessarily want to see it again, is because instead of it having something for you to latch onto, like you said, on an emotional standpoint, it became more of like, oh, there's that star, oh, there's that person, there's that, and it becomes almost.
It was just so many
Entourage.
different stories popping in, but yeah, kind of.
See, I go the opposite way with that though, because of the whole fight. I like that I didn't recognize Dakota Fanning because it
I
just kind of
did.
that works for
blended
me.
into it. So like,
I
there
couldn't
were-
believe you guys didn't recognize
there
these
were,
people.
There were a lot of people that so I didn't feel that way because it wasn't like, oh, now this star has a big scene. All the characters felt real. The time period felt real. Like I said, I wish Sharon Tate would have more to do.
Right.
But there was still I never felt like, oh, that's this movie star. Like Kurt Russell pops in. It's a great scene that he
Martin
has.
Cove.
Martin
were
Cove
people-
is in it for like
He is?
for a second.
Are they
Yeah.
playing
Wow.
themselves?
No.
Is anybody playing themselves?
No.
This is a
Okay.
different time.
It's a
Gotcha.
different time. But anyway,
Once upon a
but
time.
I think we both agree that if you're a
It's
Tarantino
super
fan,
duper worth seeing.
you have to go
You
see
have
it.
to go see
Like, you
it.
have to go
But
see it.
I think that it will take me a few years to be like, I'm going
Yeah.
to check that out again.
After watching it and then because I walked out with Roka and Roka said the same thing. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. And I said, I don't know, it's long. And I was exhausted. But after thinking about it, I would definitely watch that movie again. Like there's some crazy shit.
In the
that
background of
happens.
things, maybe.
I don't revisit Tarantino movies very
No.
often, and I'll also only watch them now if it's like if I turn on HBO or something like that and it's on, I'll watch like a 40-minute of it, and then next thing you know, I'll watch another 40 minutes in a
Yes.
month. Yeah, it's
See,
just like that's the kind of stuff I like
think
doing with
he's-
him.
I think he's one of the most brilliant.
He's
filmmakers
brilliant.
of all
No question
time,
about
and that's
that.
why.